Back to the Kosi Arsenal podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. Thomas Partey is one of the hot topics at Arsenal. A couple of sources are saying that Arsenal will give him a 2-year deal to renew in the summer, and also a couple of sources are saying Partey's time at Arsenal is over, and that is why we're seeing Martin Zubimendi as a new signing coming into the summer. Mikel Arteta himself was asked about Partey's situation, and he said he's such a very important player to the squad, such a very important member of the team, and we shall see what to do with his situation. Now, we are going to be exploring all the options. Should Partey go? Should Partey stay? Is he likely to stay? Is he likely to go by the end of this season and the end of his contract? Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well. Let me know, do you think Zubimendi coming in guarantees us that we have enough security, therefore we can let Partey go? Do you think he's such an injury-prone player, and therefore letting him go would be such an important part of Arsenal's business in terms of books of accounts and everything? Let me know. Now, I'll start off with Mikel Arteta's quotes on Thomas Partey, because they paint a picture that is very confusing. Mikel Arteta was asked about Partey's situation, and he said, Partey is an important player of us, for us, a very important member of the squad, and therefore we shall do whatever it takes, right? And we shall do whatever we think is right when the right time comes. Now, of course, when the manager says that, basically what it means is he looks at Partey as a very important member of the squad, a very important cog in the machine. But his words are very far away from the actions of the club. If he's so important, if he's very, very important, why doesn't he have a new deal on his table? If he's such an important player, why are we waiting for his contract to run down and then negotiate with him? Why aren't we trying to tie him down to a new deal, before his contract runs down? Why are we giving other clubs, Saudi Arabia, Barcelona, and all these other clubs that are interested, why are we giving them a chance if we are saying Partey is such an important player? So I think Mikel Arteta lies at some point in time. The truth is, Partey is one of the most important players at Arsenal, especially in midfield. You ask me, one of the most consistent performers at the club, Partey definitely. One of the most, I would say reliable players when it comes to, form. I don't think he has a lot of dips in forms. Partey definitely. So for me, I love Partey, and I've always said this, that I really do love and appreciate Thomas Partey. My only problem was that he is injury prone. And I remember saying that if he ever put his injury problems behind him, I would be behind him every single day. I would support him every single freaking day. I would want him to stay. And yes, I want Thomas Partey to stay. So let's get into the reports. The manager says he's important, but the club have not given him a 2-year deal yet, or they've not given him a new deal yet. Why is that? The reports that we have received in the last few hours, they basically say Thomas Partey is going to get a new deal at Arsenal, and that deal could be 2 years. Now, obviously 2 years, when you're 30, I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't expect Partey to get 3 years. I don't expect Partey to get 4 years. I think it will be either 1 year plus an option to extend for another year, or 2 years with an option to extend for another year. And that option will be in the club's favor rather than the player's favor, right? So should Partey stay then? Because that is the narrative that is now riding on social media blogs, that Partey could stay on a 2-year deal. For me, 100% is a no-brainer. I think there is a reason as to why teams keep some of the very old players, some of the initial cogs in the machine, some of the, kind of rusty, right, but still working parts of your machine. You've got to keep them. And that is Partey. I don't think Partey is still as, young, vigorous, the way, he came in and bossed the midfield against Pogba way back in 2020 in the summer. I don't think that's the Partey we have. And of course, you've got to understand, 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, those are 4 years. He's been at Arsenal for 4-5 years, right? If we've signed him at 25 or 26, he's already 30, he's already 31, and he's getting older. But also I think that injuries along the way have kind of affected his game. The Partey that we signed from Atletico Madrid, that was a different animal. That was a very, very different animal. And I hope we get one more season where Arsenal are on fire and Thomas Partey is on fire and win some silverware. That would be marvelous. I hope we win some silverware before Partey goes, because Partey loved Arsenal to the extent that Atletico failed to sell him and refused to sell him, and he waited until deadline day and disappointed Atletico Madrid by joining Arsenal on the last day of the window. That was real loyalty to Arsenal rather than Atletico Madrid. So for me, I want him to stay. I think when Martin Zubimendi comes in, and this is where we're gonna see kind of a domino effect, we're gonna see a ripple effect, kinda. I think Martin Zubimendi coming in for 50 million, it's going to create, we are going to need to create space. Now, the good thing is that Jorginho is leaving that position. That is very good, because Jorginho leaving and Zubimendi comes in means that we have had two good DMs and we still have two good DMs. We have just swapped positions. Now, also, Martin Zubimendi coming in is very important to Partey and very important to Mikel Arteta if he wants to keep Partey fit. Partey cannot play 38 games in a campaign, and this season he's played a lot of minutes at right back, at center, central midfield, at DM. He's played a lot of minutes and he's played a lot of games in different positions. Kudos to him. We needed him to stay fit, and somehow he stayed fit. I don't know how he's done it, but in a season where everyone is getting injured, you would think Partey is the is the last player to be fit, but he's been fit all through, and big credit to him for taking care of his body very well. So for me, I would say Martin Zubimendi coming in, he will eat up much of the minutes, right? And he will eat up much of the of the fixtures, and then Thomas Partey could come in when needed. For example, you're leading 2-1 and you're playing Brighton, and Brighton have are cooking. You bring in Thomas Partey alongside Zubimendi and Declan Rice, just to make that midfield solid. But also there are games where the midfield is going to need to be rock solid. Maybe you play a Bayern Munich, maybe you play Manchester City when they get better, and then you just play Partey and Rice and Zubimendi. So I think for me, Partey should stay. Give him a 2-year deal, give him a 1-year deal. If there is nothing political, if there is nothing beyond sporting and fitness issues, Partey should definitely stay. Now, there are also reports that Partey will not stay at the club. And the reports, of course, come from the fact that, listen, if he was to stay, he would have a new deal by now. That's the position in which they're coming from. If he was to stay, he would have a new position, but a new deal by now. If he was to stay, he would have a new deal by now. And I would agree partly with those reports. But I can't help but wonder, did Arsenal wait to give Partey a new deal in order to see how he fares on this season in terms of fitness, in terms of consistency, in terms of quality, in terms of form, in terms of the way he takes care of himself, right? Because for me, you don't throw away one of your best squad members. You don't just throw away Kevin De Bruyne if you're Man City. You don't just throw away Salah if you're Liverpool. You don't just throw away your best players. You keep them for a long time. So I think Arsenal have watched him, and at the end of the season, if we can convince him to stay and give him a good deal, I think Partey will stay and he will sign that new deal.